Okay, this is the Chauvet Cumulus. As you can see, there's been many videos on YouTube explaining what to do, how to set these things up and all that. But this is how we're really going to set it up for the first time. Okay, you've got 4 clips here, to this side, to this side. Simply undo that, as it's pretty simple, straightforward to do that. Put that over there. Okay, in the bag here, got plenty of little goodies. Okay, I'll open that the easy way. Okay, what you got, things that I don't show you, is you've got your power cord with your little twisty tie on that. We'll undo that first to start with. Undo that. And it's got the usual blue plug that you turn in. As you can see that, you plug that into there and you twist and it locks in. Make sure your power's turned off and plug it into your power point. That's one of the first things you do. Okay, this is only the first time I've opened up this one, but I do also have a second one as well. A bit short of oil, so first thing you do in this little box here is, this is your oil can. You fill that up whatever levels you want. It only uses a small amount of oils, but yeah, there's that one. Here's the one I've half full out of my other machine. So I'll put that in there and pop that hose in there and turn that up. Okay, here, the distilled water. Nowhere in the instructions it tells you how much water to put in. Okay, this is an Australian film, so I don't talk like an American. We're going to use 7.5 litres of water. Okay, so you open up the little flap here. The Americans say 2 gallons, but yeah, that's about 7.5 litres. Okay, inside here, got these little gel packets. Do not leave them in there, because obviously they'll soak up all your water and then be no good for anything anyway. So we'll pop that in there. Okay, another little thing we got. Rubber hose. No one tells you what to do with that as well. But if we have a look on the back here, okay, first of all you're going to make sure your 2 drain valves are turned off and closed. Then you've got this other little thing here that nobody tells you anything about or what it is. That is actually an overflow valve. You get your clear pipe and you can actually stick that straight in there and look at it, it fits. One of these wonderful things that Chauvet do not tell you about. Okay, so what you can do is you can get, this is 5 litres, so just get distilled water, or if you want to be a flat earther, it can be some chemtrail, you know, the stuff that comes out the back of planes. Anyway, so we fill that up. Keeping in mind we need 7.5 litres. So there's 5 of it. It's pretty easy when they make a 5 litre bottle, it's just half of the next one. Okay, what I recommend, if you're not real good at measuring half a bottle, this little drain valve, if you're working on a wooden floor, carpets and so forth, as I found out the first time, unfortunately, I had water spilling out everywhere, I had no idea. The first bottle you've just emptied out, get the drain hose, put that straight into the bottle there, and just leave that there. That way if you do overflow, it's going to catch straight back into your bottle, nice and easy. Well, make sure you use distilled water. They say that if you put tap water in it, okay, the minerals that are in tap water will actually destroy the mechanisms that you've got that does all your heating and so forth. We'll just look that time, not quite half. Keep going. Okay, that's probably, there you go, it looks like my overflow hose is overflowing, so that is enough. Yeah, so don't forget that bit, otherwise you'll end up with water all over a timber floor or your carpet and so forth, which is generally not a good idea. Okay, so we're finished with that for now. Okay, simply close that up. Okay, now we've got, show you how to turn the machine on. It's simply turn it on with the red button here. It'll actually, you'll hear it cycle the water go through. Some websites say you can turn it on before you add the water. That is not good for any water pump at all. So I don't care if it's a fish pond or a coffee machine or whatever. Always make sure you got your water in first. Otherwise you will start burning out water pumps. This one will actually shut off if it doesn't have enough water in it, which is a good safety tip as well. Anyway, this will take about 3 minutes to warm up. I'll let that do that thing and then we'll show you the controls on top here. Okay, while we're killing some time waiting for that to warm up, okay, other parts you'll notice come in the box is this little black gadget. And a pipe. So if you want to become a robot or something like that, you can do. But anyway, what that's designed to do is, I'll turn that around. Okay, I'll turn that around so you can almost see it. Okay, this pipe here is supposed to go on there. Okay, but everyone you see has trouble going onto there. It's a friggin' nightmare, and you don't want to waste half an hour every time you go to a gig to put that on there. So I thought there's got to be an easier way. Oh, I'll just get that up on the table there. Get rid of all my rubbish. Okay, I went down to the plumbing store and bought this. Okay, it's a 100mm PVC pipe adapter thing. Okay, I've put a 5mm piece of foam inside and super glued that in there because it was just that little bit too loose, and this now makes it nice and snug. So what we can do is, instead of mucking around with this, it cost me about $5 Australian as well, so whatever it is in your country. Okay, so with that now, look at that. Oh, it sits on there beautiful. And that now goes in there and sits nice as well. Okay, the beauty of TV, I'm going to sticky tape that on there and you're not going to see that. Okay, we're back. I've now sticky taped that on there, got that on there, so every time I go to a gig now, I can just simply put that on there, see how quick that was, save so much time digging around trying to put it on and all that. So you can come up with your own system there, so much better than what Chauvet came up with. And then you've got your hose. Get rid of some of that. This little gadget here, okay, that just simply slides through there and will hold the hose to whatever direction you require. And it's pretty good. Okay, this is now ready to show you the controls. Okay, it might be a bit bright, so I'll have to dull this down. Okay, so you've got your menu. Okay, that goes to your interval settings at 100 seconds. So you can change that down. So if you want this to work into intervals, you just press and hold that down. Like so, if you want the intervals to go for 10 seconds. Okay, the duration. Okay, let's just say if we give that a, oops, don't want to go that high. Let's just go for a 5-second burst. Menu, oops. The volume out, 100%, way too much. Okay, so the volume out, okay, this is actually, I like to think of it as a way of how much oil you're actually going to use. So even at 1%, okay, that's like using mainly water with not much oil. Fan speed, the higher the fan speed, the lower the smoke will actually go. But let's just say if we start off at 10%, I'll show you that. Fluid sensor, we'll keep that on, and the DMX control, I'll show you how to use that later. Okay, so from there, direct timer off, and back to ready to Cumulus, so it's ready to use. Okay, so now as you can see, and it doesn't tell you in the instructions either, the buttons say timer, volume and stop on the bottom of the buttons there. Okay, it doesn't say start or stop. Okay, so there's two different start buttons. If you just wanted to run off the timer, as I showed you earlier, I think I put that on a 10-second cycle with a 5-second duration. So what we'll do is we'll press that to start with. So it's all ready to go. The water is in there. it's doing its countdown, and then this is its first use too, so it's got a cycle through it. And as you see, it'll let off a nice fog. Okay, that's already worked for 5 seconds, so it's shut down for 10 seconds. And we've got 3, 2, 1, and it'll cycle up again for 5 seconds. And now it'll shut down again for another 10 seconds. Okay, so we can hit the stop button, or the enter button, to stop that. And then you can just have that. But if you just wanted to concentrate on the volume that was coming out, instead of just timing it, just simply hit the volume button. You press that one, and this is now pumping out on a 1% volume. And as you can see, that's still pretty huge for 1%. And keeping it in mind, our fan is still only on 10%. So if you're doing a dance floor or a party or something like that, this is more than enough. And then what we do is, that's going constantly, so we'll just simply hit the enter button to stop it. And as you can see, with this shed here, for the non-Americans, is about 12 metres by 15.5 metres. So it's a pretty decent sized shed, and this is just one small little pump, and you can see how much fog we've got with that so far. Okay, also this machine has a DMX control. Oh, you've got to buy this separately, but a DMX controller, usually the 512 channel, and it can either take, there's just a plug in here, you just pull that plug out and get rid of it. Okay, you can either put the 3-pin DMX in or the 5-pin, whichever you prefer, but this particular controller, this particular controller is a 3-pin, so I'm just using that. The instructions will actually show you about the numbers to use to what the fan will go, but I've just found with simple channel 1 and 2 and the good old blackout button works wonders. So number 1, you just put on nice and low. Okay, so I've put that on to, where is it? We're at about 15. Okay, and yep, and then you put your fan dial up nice and high. Hope you can see that over that bottle there. You put that up there. I've got it in blackout mode, so if you've got yourself a nice long DMX cable, you can be hiding anywhere you like. And then just simply hit your blackout button, and your smoke comes out just on a continuous basis until you decide to stop it. And then just simply hit your blackout button again, and that'll shut it off. So if you don't want too much smoke but you want it low lying, we'll turn it back on there. Channel number 2 here, we can actually turn that right down. Okay, that'll slow the fan speed down, but if you turn it right down, it will actually turn the fan speed off. But so you just have that up just a little bit, but then your fog will actually start getting a little bit more thick. So what you want to do is turn your fan speed up, and the fog will actually start thinning out again. If you want it to go a little bit thicker, okay, you turn number 1 up, which will actually start adding oil to your water mixture as well, and that'll thicken the fog right up. Okay, I'll just let that run for a few seconds there, so I'll hit the blackout button and it'll just simply shut the machine off. Make sure, or when you plug your DMX in there, it will actually come up on the display here, DMX 512 address 1. You can daisy chain these as well, which I have not attempted to do yet, but I do have 2 machines, so I will be trying that in the near future, just to make sure it all works fine, which I have no doubt that it probably will. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'll just clear the room out of the smoke there. I'll get this down onto ground level and show you what sort of coverage we can get from this machine. Okay, so we've got the machine on ground level. I'm probably about 10-12 metres away from the camera now. I'll make this a little bit thinner so it's more water than oil water. So the more water vapour you've got, the lower the smoke will go. As you can see, it is coming up a little bit high because I just had a little bit of oil in it. We'll turn the fan on to maybe 50% on the DMX timer, And we shall fire it up and give a bit of a, and I'll move that away from the post. Because the smoke on this will actually bounce, so if it hits an item, it'll then come up. Obviously, if there's nothing in front of it to hit, then it'll stay nice and low. Say if you're a couple at a first wedding, then it's perfect to dance to. The advantage with this machine over the Nimbus, although the Nimbus is a dry ice machine, honestly, it'll last 1.5 minutes with 5 kilos of ice. That's all, I don't care what anybody says, it's been tried and tested. As you can see, this is giving a nice coverage. Obviously you have two machines, you come in from either side, and you can get some pretty serious coverage. I don't want much more than that just now, otherwise it'll start rising and then everybody's just dancing in the clouds somewhere. So the Nimbus, good machine, excellent machine, but will only give you 1.5 minutes on 5 kilos. If you put a second 5 kilos of ice in there, the water gets too cold, will only burn half your ice, and 4 minutes, the game's over. This machine here, I can keep it running all night long, not a problem in the world. And yeah, the first thing that'll run out is the water. In Australia, the distilled water is like $4 for 5 litres, so from any hardware store like Bunnings or whatever else, so it's pretty cheap. And so if it starts thinning out again, simply hit the blackout button and it'll punch you out a bit more. As you can see, you start getting a good cloud in here, and if you've got some laser machines, they just certainly add to the effect. I'll just pump a bit more smoke into this. And I have no doubt the camera's picking that up awesome and showing the brilliant show that it is. And there we go. These are only 1 watt laser, and they're very fast moving, but I've also got some 2 watt lasers, which are slower moving, more defined in what they do. Obviously more expensive as well, but the effect that they give off is absolutely just amazing. So just all different add-ons you can do, especially when you've got a quality smoke machine like this. I'd recommend it any day of the week. So hopefully that video has helped you on how to actually set this thing up, despite the lack of instructions, and you've probably watched all the other videos as well. While you're operating the machine on the DMX as well, and you're nowhere near the machine, you don't have to have the ugly top poking out. The lid that comes with it does actually have air vents in it. This end and both sides and so forth, which you probably saw in the other videos. So this can actually go back on and clip into place, and you can still operate the machine with that lid on there. And if you want, you can even make a nice little cover for it so it looks like part of the furniture too. Okay, so hopefully that video has helpfully explained how to start the machine up with a bit more instructions than what Chauvet actually gives you. So if you like my video, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and hopefully some of your other friends who get the same sort of machine can see it as well. And hopefully it explains it a bit better than some of the other videos that are out there. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.